Alrighty, let's chat a little bit here about what might be commonly referred to as purifying the spirit. So, in many different types of traditions, there are systems used to help enhance or increase the perceptions of craving and aversion. So, for example, these might be different types of pain tolerances or environmental discomfort. So maybe that would be vast periods of time under icy cold waterfalls or sweat lodges, standing or sitting for hours or days on end without moving, whatever it is, fasting, all these things to help increase perceptions of dukkha, perceptions of craving, of aversion. And the role of all of these is sort of twofold. Well, more than that, but two we're going to look at. One, like we said, is to increase the amount of sheer static that we have to deal with. And two, on top of that increase, what happens is sometimes as a byproduct of the particular training mechanism, there's a separation or a softening out that occurs between the mind perception and the energies of the body, a separation that occurs, or we could look at this as a perspective shift that allows for the equanimity of the elements to move more freely so that we can find comfort within that uncomfortable scenario. So, let's say you are in a sauna or a sweat lodge type of environment. You have the heat, and the heat, as it gets more and more and more intense, it will do this naturally. It starts to soften what we might call the matrices, and through that softening, we find spiritual types of phenomenal experience. These might be in the form of visions or deep types of realizations and insight. And the reason for this is because we've softened that binding that is inhibiting the change or the shift in perspective of the mind itself, because it's locked in. So when we can free it, then it can change and shift shape and become more expansive and see greater and greater and greater swaths of what's going on. So if it's long endurance types of meditative practice, well, as anyone who's done a lot of seated practice will be very familiar with, you're not going to go through more mental, emotional, physical, or existential pain than when seated in what might appear like a very peaceful environment. Now, when you start to add these together, we get more and more intense potentials because of the increase in static. So let's say you're doing endurance meditative type of training and you're fasting, and a part of that meditative training is, maybe some hours of the day are in a sauna or sweat lodge type of scenario. Maybe there's a pain component involved in the meditative practices. Whatever it might be, as we start stacking these, it increases the static. Because the static is increased, this creates a wave of potential for us to then increase our potential for equanimity of that static. And because there's so much energy reticulating, just bouncing back and forth with that increase in static, the potential insight becomes that much greater. Okay, now transmission and spiritual attunements can facilitate a similar type of experience, where maybe instead of needing to spend 2 weeks in very, very still seated practice to reach that, or stacking all of these different elements to cultivate or increase the static, the transmission itself, touching that energy itself and staying there, sometimes even for a few hours, can be, of equal transformative value. So why would you do it in one of these more intensely uncomfortable ways and use one of those training mechanisms for that? Well, in the absence of the gift of someone actually being able to share with you what a more refined state would be, you can use these tools to get there on your own. And so there's great value in knowing that these tools exist, because then you can start on that path on your own. So some things to think about. And now here's the kicker is, let's say you have access to some deep states of meditative potential, and you're touching high, very refined energy and states of light, etc. Then if you couple that with, let's say, an endurance practice, it's pretty nuts. It's pretty off the hook when it comes to the type of change you can go through in a quick period of time. Now, all of this said, often meditation is viewed as relaxing. I'm going to meditate, peaceful, relaxing, rejuvenative, and it certainly can be. However, deep transformation and change is initially far from rejuvenative, because we have to equalize with it. We really have to recover from it. The body has to recover. The psychological frameworks and emotional frameworks shift. The identity itself alters and changes. Values will shift immediately, and we have to integrate that. And that can take time to do this in a healthy way. So we always want to make sure that we're working with keeping the body healthy, with good food, etc., good water, clean air, all that good stuff. That we are keeping the mind as healthy as we can, and that we're keeping the emotional activity as healthy as we can, so that all of these shifts and changes can be worked through in a smooth and fast manner, because it can be pretty intense. All right, hope you enjoyed this little video on methods of purification of the spirit. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.